This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball XL Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, the 1980-83 Game of the Week. Let's move this mic over a little bit. Here we go. Game of the Week. In the 80-83 season today, we got a game between the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds in the National League North. And we have a heck of a series. Let's first look at the standings this time, because we've been into the Fall League for a bit of time now. And here we have the two teams today that are playing the best baseball in this division, the Reds and the Cubs, while the Pirates and Cardinals are having some hard times. For the Pirates, the 1980s would be hard times after winning the '79 World Series. Mysteriously for the Cardinals, they just haven't gotten that 1982 mojo going yet, where they win the World Series. Mostly Ozzie Smith's still in the Padres. That might be Lonnie Smith's still in the Phillies. That might have something to do with it. Reds had one of the best records in the National League. Remember, the 1981 Cincinnati Reds had the best record in baseball. Didn't get an invitation to the playoffs, as every resident of the city of Cincinnati knows. It's part of the birthright there that they were snubbed from making the playoffs in '81. And the Cubs have put together a nice little ball club, and they did it in an intriguing way. I'll show you this. The Chicago Cubs went and rented a lot of one-year players, and they got them from Baltimore. If you remember Baltimore, they won 102 games in '79. They won 100 games in '80. They won the 1983 World Series. Baltimore had too many players' contracts coming up at the same time, and the Cubs swooped in and stole a bunch of them. Most aren't a big deal. They took Terry Crowley, Dan Graham, Mark Belanger, but the big fish they took from Baltimore was Kenny Singleton, who actually was a big part of the late '70s, early '80s Baltimore Orioles. So that's 4 Oriole players on the Chicago Cub roster, making this a rather intriguing team. Unfortunately for the Cubs, they're only going to have these guys for 1 year. All their contracts expire, of the players I just mentioned. Joining the familiar Cubs players we know and love, the Bill Buckners, the Mike Krukals, the Lee Smiths, those wonderful players. Cubs, Reds, let's take a look at what has happened. Game 1 opening up in Chicago. It's Tom Seaver, Rick Sutcliffe. This has been a great series. Bottom of the third, you get a 2-out, 2-run single by Buckner, and it's 2-zip Cubbies. Reds score runs in the 4th and 5th on the dreaded pass ball and an RBI single by Lee May, who returned to Cincinnati. It goes into the 8th inning as Sutcliffe and Seaver go 7 1/3 and 7 2/3. Brett Butler, RBI single for the Reds, chases Sutcliffe. Bottom half of the inning, Seaver gets single ground out, sac fly to tie the game. Then you get an error by third baseman Dave McKay, a free agent they brought in to play third because Pete Rose is no longer around, nor is Ray Knight for the Reds. And that error leads to a 3-run double by Terry Crowley. And Burt Campaneris, another free agent, with a 2-run homer. They gave him full-time power. This is one of the crazy things that annoys me about Strat-O-Matic. Burt Campaneris had 1 homer and 80 at-bats. They gave him power both ways, folks. That's what Strat does. 8-3 final for the Cubs. They win game 1. Game number 2. This will be an interesting game. Mario Soto versus Reggie Cleveland, a free agent for the Cubs. And in the bottom of the 2nd, solo homer, Dan Graham. Bottom of the 3rd, solo homer, Terry Crowley, 2-zip. Reds get a George Foster sac fly. They get a couple runs in the 5th thanks to an error by Dan Graham playing third base. Ouch. It's 3-2 Reds. Stays that way into the bottom of the ninth. And Mario Soto was chugging along after the 2 solo homers to the tune of a strikeout in the 6th, 3 more Ks in the 7th, 2 more Ks in the 8th. So instead of bringing the closer in, they left Mario Soto to close it out since he was dominating. You get a walk. Ground ball moves a runner up. 2 outs, tie run at second base. It's Mario Soto versus Bill Buckner. Bill Buckner wins with the RBI single to tie the game. Have to figure that really ticked off Soto because the very next pitch to Kenny Singleton, walk-off 2-run dinger. Cubs win 5-3. Mario Soto, 8 2/3, 4 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. Again, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. Everybody he put on base scored. Homer, homer, single, walk, and homer. The other 27 plate appearances were all outs. And Reggie Cleveland got a no decision. Joey McLaughlin and Kevin Hickey teamed up. Cubs win the first 2 games. Game 3 in Cincinnati. And we have Darrell Jackson, a free agent for the Cubs, and Joe Price for the Reds. In this one, it goes extra innings. We'll just jump to there because it's a 3-3 game. It's actually a 4-3 game into the 9th. After 2 outs, Reds closer Ron Davis inexplicably gives up a homer to Jody Davis to tie it in the bottom of the 11th inning. And we're playing extra innings, folks, like the present day rules, mostly to speed up this fall league. Again, the fall league, I don't use as much attention to detail as I do the summer league that takes up much more of my time and is played during the months of baseball. So I decided to experiment with Major League Baseball's extra inning rule, starting an inning with a runner at second base. So in the bottom of the 11th inning, we put Bump Wills at second base after a strikeout. Ken Griffey, RBI single off the Lee Smith card, ball game. Reds win 5-4. Home teams won every game. Cubs lead the series 2-1. Today we have a game 4 in the game of the week. Cincinnati needs to win this game to even the series. Send it back to Chicago for game 5. Your matchup today, the Cubs will send Mike Krukow out there. He actually was a Philly in '82. 13-11, 3.12 ERA in 208 innings. And the Reds, you're going to love this, folks. You're going to really love this. The Cincinnati Reds will send Randy Jones out there. Now, Randy's getting long in tooth. They acquired him from the Padres. Randy Jones in 1980 was 5-13 with a 3.92 ERA in 154 innings. But you had to figure the Reds were intrigued about him based on how he dominated the Dodgers for the Padres. And even though the Reds and Dodgers aren't in the same division in our little league, I can only imagine the Cincinnati Reds probably would have figured out if they could have gotten Randy Jones off the Padres. Never quite happened, again, because all 3 of the teams were in the National League West. But you kind of think that, and in his prime, Randy Jones, boy, that really would have tilted the balance in the late 1970s. Maybe the Reds and the Yankees would have played in more World Series instead of just the one. But anyway, a little revisionist history there. But let's get started from Cincinnati. Mike Krukow, Randy Jones. We'll spin the tumblers here. Leading off for the Cubs, it's Pat Tabler. 5-12 rolls to first. Jerry Morales, 1-7's a base hit. And here is their prize free agent, Kenny Singleton. 39 is a walk. And Heidi Cruz, 63 off Randy Jones, short X. The Reds have Concepcion at short. And it's a double play. I guess Randy Jones was used to Ozzie Smith backing him up. Now he's got Dave Concepcion backing him up. Bottom of the first, it's Brett Butler. 3-10 flies to right. Lee Lacy, 6-11, first X. Buckner's a 2-11. Grounds out. And Lee May making a nice return to Cincinnati, where he played in late 60s, early 70s. 47, single 1 of 16 gets it. And your cleanup hitter, George Foster, 2-3, grounds short. Top of 2, it's Bill Buckner. 45, rolls a second. Jody Davis, 2-8, grounds a short. And crosstown White Sox player Wayne Nordhagen, 1-8, base hit. Another White Sox player, Julio Cruz, 2-7 is a K. Bottom of the second inning, it's Ken Griffey. 3-11, skies the center. Johnny Bench, 2-7's a base hit. Dave McKay, 64, catcher's X. Jody Davis, 2-6. Ground ball seal, move the runner up. And it's Bump Wills, 46. Single 1 of 16 gets it. They're on the corners for Dave Concepcion. 1-3, flies to left field. We go to the third inning. Scoreless, Mark Belanger. 59 off Randy Jones. Oh, that's a double off the Randy Jones card for the number 9 hitter. Pat Tabler. 2-4, center B question mark. Jerry Morales, 310 left. And Singleton, 53. Right X, it's Griffey in right field. 3-7 in right. Makes the catch. If you're wondering about the number of players for the traditional team, let me kind of go through this with you. So Cruz and Buckner, Heidi Cruz, and Jody Davis, that's 3 original Cubs. Plus you have Morales makes 4. So only 4 of the hitters actually were Cubs. The pitching staff, believe it or not, I mean, you've got some instances where guys will have played for the Cubs. Lee Smith. Literally only 5 of the 20 Cubs actually played for the Cubs with their cards. However, Pat Tabler does play for them in a different season, as does Rick Sutcliffe, as does Mike Krukow. So it's interesting. This is sort of what we try and do in the fall league, is kind of get the players to bounce around a little bit more than traditional IRL baseball, just to have some fun with this league. Whereas in the summer league, we're trying to go for a more accurate portrayal, if we can, over a period of 4 years when possible. So that's the big difference between the 2 leagues. Okay, bottom of the third. Back up top of the order, it is Brett Butler. 3-6, rolls the third. Lee Lacy, 110, flies to center. And Lee May, 37, is a K. I will show you cards once somebody does anything, but right now it's scoreless. In the fourth, Heidi Cruz. 5-12, rolls to first. Bill Buckner, 68. Second X, Bump Wills, the 3-15, makes the play. And Jody Davis, 2-2, fouls to the catcher. Nice start for Randy Jones, looking like the Randy of the mid-70s. George Foster, 46, that's a base hit. Ken Griffey is a ground ball to short. He's on at first for Johnny Bench. 55 off of Krukow, double 1 of 16. It's a single ... You got runners in the corners. They're going to bring it up for Dave McKay. 47 is a walk, and this is trouble for Krukow. He is low to the bases with 1 out. They have to bring it up for A Bunning Bump Wills. 1-7's a K. And number 9 hitter, Concepcion. 5-11, second X. This is Julio Cruz, a 2-19 at second base. Buddy boots the ground ball. The Cubs, we remember that Julio Cruz was with Seattle, and there was a big trade between the White Sox and the Mariners to get Julio Cruz and Tom Paciorek. But in our replay, it was crosstown Chicago who wanted to get Julio Cruz, mostly because he and Singleton are switch hitters, something that the Cubs have a shortage of. In any event, this is an error on Julio Cruz, and that gives us our first run. Unearned run, 1-zip Reds. Back up top, Brett Butler. 39 for Brett is a walk, and that will plate another run. Couple unearned runs here. McKay's at third, Concepcion at second, Butler at first. Reds have a chance to blow it open here with 2 outs with a 2-0 lead. And Lee Lacy. 3-6. Let's take a look at a card. It's Lee Lacy's 1982 Pittsburgh card. 312 average. There was a period where Lacy was a member of the Dodgers and then the Pirates, then eventually the Orioles. Played for a lot of teams. His best years were in Pittsburgh, but the Reds jumped in, made a deal to get him before he shows up in Pittsburgh, which might explain why the Reds are still great and the Pirates are struggling. That one player going from the Pirates to the Reds is a big deal. 3-6, homer 1 of 4, fly ball the rest. But he misses the grand slam by rolling a 17, and the Cubs breathe a sigh of relief as the ball is caught on the warning track. Stays 2-zip. Top of the 5th, Wayne Nordhagen. 39 is a walk. Nope, no it's not. It's a sky to center field. Julio Cruz 1-4, short. And Belanger, 69, flies to center field. Randy Jones with a 3-hitter through 5 innings. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right. Just a 2-0 game. It's Lee May. 64, he strikes out. George Foster, 6'10". Catcher's X, Jody Davis, 2-6. Next to play. And Ken Griffey is a fly ball to right field. X. Singleton's a 3-5 in right field. That's not an error. It's a double. Oh boy. Runner at second, 2 outs. For Johnny Bench, let's take a look at a card before he swings. Johnny Bench. Hey, he is not done yet, folks. 1981. Bench hits 309. This magnificent card hits 360 against the lefties and slugs 1142. Not slugs. OPS is 1142 or so versus lefties. Decent against righties. And here's the pitch to Johnny Bench. 45, skies to center field. Reds take a 2-0 lead to the 6th with Pat Tabler. Randy Jones is a starter 6. I don't think he can lose. I think if he puts a couple guys on, we'll hook him. To avoid the point of weakness and to avoiding a loss. Pat Tabler, 53. Right X, it's Griffey. He's a 3-7. In right field, he makes the catch. Jerry Morales, 2-9, rolls to short. And with 2 outs, it's Kenny Singleton, 65. Sky to shallow center field. What a day for Randy Jones. Must be something about the game of the week and the lights on, because he would shine in those Dodger Padre games in the land of the yacht rock. Matter of fact, we had the Padres playing in a fall league championship series like 3 years ago against the Phillies. Almost went to the World Series. That's how zany the fall league has been. So Randy Jones, with one of his weaker cards, goes to Cincinnati and gives you a command performance today. 2-0, bottom of the 6th inning. Crew Cal had 1 bad inning. He'll continue. He'll face Dave McKay. 48 is a walk. C. Steeler for Bump Wills. The Bumpster, let's take a look at Bump Wills. 1980 card, was a Texas Ranger. He actually ends up on the Cubs, of all teams. As a switch-hitting second baseman. Interesting. The Cubs said, we don't want Bump Wills. We'd rather have Julio Cruz. Okay, that's fine. Joe Morgan's gone from Cincinnati. He's in San Francisco now. So the Reds needed a second baseman. They got Bump Wills from the Rangers. 263 in 600 plate appearances. Great base stealer. But 3-3 is homer 1-11, double the rest. And when we look up, Bump Wills has jacked one out of Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. And it's 4-zip. My goodness. Had 5 home runs that year. It's Concepcion, 56. Base hit off Crew Cal, who was a starter 7. He's going to stick it out, help his bullpen if he can. Brett Butler, 4-6-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered. And Lee Lacy, 33, grounds the 3rd. Well, it's 4-0 for Randy Jones. He can't lose. Top of the 7th. And do the Reds want to improve their defense? Nah, they'll leave it alone with a 4-run lead. Heidi Cruz. 1-6 is a walk. Bill Buckner. 69 off Jones, flies to left. Jody Davis. 47, base hit to right field. Cruz will stay at second. Down 4 runs. Looking for a double play with 2 on and 1 out. It's Wayne Nordhagen. 38 is a 6-4-3 double play. Tailor-made double play for Randy Jones and the Cincinnati Reds. It's hard to say that, but yeah. Stretch time here in Cincinnati. We have been enjoying listening to the Promised Heights LP of Simand or Command, however you want to pronounce that. Simand, 1974 funk soul record here. Great stuff. Brothers on the Slide was the one. A lot of mixes. Good stuff there by however you want to pronounce that. Simande, Commande, Simande, whatever. Anyway, we don't know how to pronounce them, but we do like listening to them, folks. Bottom of the 7th, 4-0, Crew Cal. He'll continue, and he'll face Lee May. 3-10, flies to left. They'll pull him. Mike Ivey will come in defensively for him. In the top half of the next inning. George Foster, 68, flies to left. Ken Griffey, 53, first C. 4-zip into the 8th. Randy Jones still chugging along. It'll be Julio Cruz. 68, short X. It's Concepcion. Yeah, good luck with that. Mark Belanger, 36, rolls short. And the Cubs are rolling. They're rolling into a offensive slump here. 46, pops to first base. Randy Jones just too much for the Cubs today. 4-0 game. We'll pull Kruko after 7. We'll bring in Kevin Hickey to pitch the 8th inning. He also was a White Sox, crosstown. 81, 368 ERA in 44 innings for the Southsiders. Coming to the north side to eat up an inning here. And he'll face Johnny Bench. 34, Sky's the center. We'll put Mike Overberry defensively in there, the backup catcher, for Johnny, so he can rest the rest of the day. Dave McKay, 64, short X. You got Belanger, 2E20, makes the play. And Bump Wills, 38, grounds to short. We go to the 9th, folks. Pretty quick game, 4-0. Randy Jones fans are like pumping him up here, looking for a CGSO. For the 5-13 record of Randy Jones, no, he is not past his prime, folks. This dude's throwing a 4-hitter. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base runners. Into the 9th we go. Bill Scherer and Ron Davis are warming in the Red bullpen, just in case the Cubs start to rally. It'll be Jerry Morales. 1-6, Jerry Morales. This is Homer, 1-6. Fly ball the rest, and Jerry Morales gets the home run. And with the shutout gone, are they going to? Yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to pull their starter. Probably could have gone for the complete game, but he loses the shutout, and we have a capable closer in Ron Davis. So the Reds will send Ron Davis out there. Stolen from the Yankees. Hey, the Reds, they've made some nice moves to this roster. So Ron Davis, really good year for the 1981 Yankees that went to the World Series. He had a 2.71 ERA, setting up Goose Gossage in New York in 73 innings, which was a lot of innings when you consider it's a strike year and it's a reliever. Probably would have thrown like 130, 40 innings. It was a full season. Great year for Ron Davis. He comes to the Reds as their closer, as they've moved Tom Hume, their previous closer, into a setup role. So Ron Davis comes on in the 9th to get the final 3 outs with a 3-run lead, and he'll face Ken Singleton. 48 is a strikeout. Heidi Cruz, 1-7, another strikeout, and with 2 outs, it's Bill Buckner. Let's take a look at Bill Buckner. You have a 1980 batting champion. 324, narrowly edging out Keith Hernandez for the 1980 batting title in the National League. Plus, he had 41 walks. But most incredulously, the most significant thing about Bill Buckner in 1980 is that he struck out 18 times, folks, in 608 plate appearances. 18 strikeouts. Think about that as you watch your present-day baseball take place. Bill Buckner, you just couldn't throw a ball past the dude. 18 strikeouts in 600 and some plate appearances. Amazing. Here's the pitch to Billy Buck. 2-4, well, he makes contact, of course. Grounder to short, A, to end the game, and the Reds win 4-1. Home team has won all games. Series tied 2 apiece. Randy Jones with the win, Ron Davis with a save, Mike Krukow with a loss. So at the end of the video, we'll give you the results of Game 5 back in Chicago, and it'll be a great game. It'll be Rick Sutcliffe for the Cubs pitching at home in Wrigley Field against Tom Seaver and the Reds. We'll give you the result of that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. All right, baseball fans, here's the box score of Game 4 you saw. The Reds winning 4-1. Randy Jones, 8 innings, 5 hits, a run allowed, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Ron Davis with a save. Mike Krukow, 7 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. Only 2 are earned because we had that error in the 4th inning. And the Reds and Cubs have split 4 games. We'll go to Chicago. Can the Cubs win the series with the home team winning all 5 of these games? Let's find out between Tom Seaver and Rick Sutcliffe rematch. Low scoring affair. We get a George Foster homer in the 2nd inning. It's 1-0. It gets into the 8th inning. Sutcliffe and Seaver are gone. Sutcliffe, 8 innings, 6 hits, a run allowed, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts. Seaver had to leave after 6 with an injury. Gave up just a hit and 4 walks. But Bill Scherer comes on in, and in the 8th inning, with 2 outs, an RBI single by Heidi Cruz ties the game at 1 apiece. Sutcliffe's taken out of the game to avoid a loss and get a no decision. I like to do that. If a guy is getting a loss and the team ties it up or takes the lead, I like to get him out of there. Don't want to give him double jeopardy for a loss. And they go to setup man Kevin Hickey in the 9th, and we get a couple pinch hitters, Mike Ivy and Garth Orge, the I&I guys. Well, you get a single for Ivy and a 2-run homer for Garth Orge for the Reds. Ron Davis closes out, gets the save, and that's how the series ends. 9th inning of Game 5. The Reds have finally got a road win in the series. 3-1 final for the Reds, winning it in the 9th inning. And the Reds now have won every series they've played this year, I believe. Let's take a look at the overall standings. Cubs missed an opportunity to chase the Reds down for the division, as now they fall 4.5 back. They at one point were 10-7, and actually they were 10-6, and they lost the last 3 games of the series. So they're still in 2nd place, looking at a wild card. But the Reds, boy, what a performance! Down 0-2, they rip off 3 straight wins. 14-4, 778 ball is the best baseball in the National League presently. Again, this is a homage, you can say, to the 1981 Cincinnati Reds, who, again, had the best record in the National League and did not go to the playoffs. So there we have it today. Break up the Big Red Machine. They do beat the Cubs 3-2 on the Game of the Week. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.